And let me tell you, all the things I just said were so hilarious. What the? I don't know why. Streamlabs never used to do this before. I don't know why it keeps forgetting what my default mic is. It doesn't, and it doesn't change it. It just puts it to none. I don't know why it's doing that. What the hell? Yeah, it's again that's something new with Streamlabs. It's never done that before, but I don't know if that has something to do with it. I got an update on the computer that changed everything. I've been going back through changing all my because fuck you, Microsoft. That's why I got a Windows update that changed tons of shit on here. But I was just I couldn't figure out why. As we came in, I was singing the old Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle song without even thinking about it. And I have no idea, how the hell did that come to mind? I mean, it's only been at least 40 years more since the Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show was on TV. It was too good to air on live stream. That's what it was, plus ultra. That's premium content, bro. Okay, now what the hell's going on here? And now, okay, there it goes. Now Susan was fucking with me too. Okay, that's better. Uh, Susan or Bill? Susan or Bill? Tough choice on who's to blame. Oh, Lick says this stream is to raise awareness for the deaf members of our audience. You can donate money directly through me. I promise it will be stolen and spent on meth. Nice. Meth funds. I like that, Licks. You've had that in your head longer than I've been alive. True, Jack. Most of you probably. I'm trying to think. I'll have to look it up. I'm going to say Hudson Brothers Razzle Dazzle show was... I'm going to say 73 or 4. Let me see when it actually came out. Hudson Bros Razzle Dazzle show. The Hudson Brothers American music. Yeah, well, musical group. Take that lightly. Where's the Razzle Dazzle show? Listen, I don't care about that shit. I want to know about... God damn it. I can't find... How many things were they involved with here? Speedway, New Adventures of Batman. I can find everything they were involved in except that one. Oh, maybe I imagined it. Maybe it never happened. Oh, here we go. 1974. I guess I called it. Yeah, 1974 to 75. Jeez. Yeah, 74 it came out. Holy shit. And that's the song that was running through my head. PTG says, I got a notification for a joke stream, but so far it seems jokes on you. Oh, now what did they do? Really, BTG? You got the notification from yesterday's stream? Jesus Christ, Susan. What the fuck next? Oh my God. Lude said same thing. Yeah, it's weird. The Discord notification said Free for All Friday. YouTube says this stream is called Joke Stream. No idea, guys. I wish I could tell you. That's a Susanism. I swear, sometimes it's like they're trying to see, Susan's trying to see how far they can push us before one of us snaps. No one got it too. It's still, let me look at mine. He said, BTG said it's still titled Joke Stream. Hold on, let me see what I get if I call up the... You're right. What the fuck? So why did I just write up all that information for it to ignore it all? This is freaking bizarre. It really is, you guys. I'm going to change it. Hold on, guys. It'll take me a minute. I'm going to change it just because I want to see if it actually changes or not. I'll put it back to as close as I can remember what it was. And then just tell me if it changes for you guys. And the title is good this time, too. I put, let's gently touch tips. And then all this hard creative work. And then in the description I put, and maintain eye contact, because that's really funny. Oh yeah, now write it again without the caps lock on, you fucking nimnod. And maintain eye contact. And tell me if it all changes, guys. All right, put that in there. Let me change the... You're not going to let me change the profile picture? Ah, Jesus Christ. Susan, you make me want to have an aneurysm. Okay, oh, no, wait, the Free For All Friday, but it's got the Free For All Friday picture on it already, though. So why did it change the description but not the picture? All right, now let me know, guys, too, if it still says the same thing. This is just amazing. Say, yeah, Edwin. Says, stop being difficult, Susan. That's saying it minus all the expletives I would have used. I like that. Willie says, there'll be nothing gentle about it. Just ask my first graders. They say hi, by the way. Oh, Willie. Oh. Jesus ain't here. He's killing kids in Africa. Jack. Now, when I read that comment, it was funnier, and it got funnier when I read the screen name. Nancy Pelosi says, because fuck you, that's why it won't work. It's still, now it says Free For All Friday. Thanks, Bester. I couldn't even begin to guess, guys. Like I say, I know I had it all in there that way. Well, and the picture was right. It was the Free For All Friday picture. So why did it accept the picture but not the not the description or title? We have to refresh to see the change, BTG says. Also next post. Okay, pal. He says, I see they've expanded their copyright counterclaim policy to video titles and descriptions too. Oh, really, BTG? I didn't see this. No, their counterclaim policy? What? I wonder what they mean by that. To video titles and descriptions too. That's not saying that the Autobot is going to start claiming things based on titles, is it? Oh, Jesus Christ. What a... Yeah, because it's not enough of a nightmare now. Oh, man. Unbiner Aleatorio says, sticky goo in my pants. Sticky goo in your pants is always a comfortable thing, and always very welcome here at our live streams. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out actually how to... I might try out that Restream software. Not that I have any problem with Streamlabs. It's just, I thought it'd be fun to do these streams where we could stream to Facebook and Twitch at the same time. And because I subscribe to Streamlabs, I'm offered that option, but it never works. I can't get it to work properly. I'll try it again next stream and see what we can do. But if we could get that to work, I just thought that's more with trying to get notifications out there. At least the people that follow me on Twitch too, or the Facebook page, maybe they could get notifications that way when Susan says no. If you touch the tips hard enough, sticky goo comes out. Well, that's what we hope for, Beaner. That's what we hope for. Sticky stuff. It's the cornerstone of this channel. We built this channel on sticky stuff. Jeez, it's just getting grosser and grosser. Mistra says, hey, Curtis, me change my name. I saw it at the end of the stream, Spheres. This time I'm sticking with this name long term, so should get used to it with time. Okay, no problem. Brandon Rogers is so great, Chris. Not only as I've said over and over, not just a funny guy, but a really good dude too. Just I have no limit to the amount of good things I can say about Brandon Rogers. Mr. Croissant says, you want to hear a joke? Vince McMahon is firing talent and hiring garbage. Almost ready for Logan Paul to debut. Oh, don't even... That might happen. Vince has almost become... I don't know how many of you guys are football fans or are football fans from this far back, but it almost reminds me of Al Davis with the Raiders. Al Davis owned the Raiders for years. and built a great franchise. But near the end, he was fucking losing his mind and made ridiculously stupid personnel moves. And I still think he was just out of it. And it's almost starting to seem like what Vince is doing. Either that, guys, or I think they're going to sell the WWE. One of the two. Mistress Spears says I can use magic now, so watch out. Dylan says, I win, suckers. I shouted as I outswam all the other sperm cells. We built this city. That song, it's funny, Wolverine, when Brax has been working out with me, hitting the weights with me, and we were training the other day, and that song, he's got that song on his playlist, and I was explaining to him how that band went through a ridiculous number of iterations. Just that I remember they were Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, and Starship. Same band, all three different names, and there might have been one more in there. Lud says, oh, by the way, Curtis, you asked us to remind you about that joke you had opinions on in the Discord. There's still something relevant you want to ask. Thanks, Lud. I appreciate that. I think I've got it, but I wouldn't mind bringing it up. I asked my mod crew in Discord yesterday. For those who don't know, I'm seriously thinking about it, and I will be going out doing live stand-up again. And I had an opening joke that I wasn't really sure how I wanted to complete the gag. And so I asked for help, and basically what it was, now I got to remember the joke. I haven't committed it to memory yet. I just wrote it. But it's I'm going to come out. Obviously, when I'm on stage, I have to see the crowd, so I have my glasses on. The joke is, I come out and say, my name is Curtis. And yes, when I remove my glasses, I do look like an old, fat Caucasian Thanos. But then the next part of the joke was, except that when I snap my fingers, blank. But I think what I decided to go with is, my name is Curtis, and yes, when I remove my glasses, I do look like an old, fat Caucasian Thanos. But don't worry, because snapping my fingers is way more physical activity than I'm willing to be involved with. So I think I'm going to go with that. Yes? Diga says, stupid question, but how do you explain deja vu? I think most commonly, all your memories are stored in your, why is the terminology going right out of my head? Subconscious. And I think most commonly, I mean, just, from what I've been able to glean from all the years of doing hypnosis and stuff, I think a lot of times deja vu is a repressed memory. It's just something that's in those files, but way, way back. It's been buried, and you'll see something that triggers that glimmer of a memory. I do also think sometimes we have deja vu when there isn't a memory there, just because it's, for lack of a better term, our mind playing tricks on us. You see something in passing, it's like, wow, I think I've seen that before. And you could have. Maybe you even saw it in a dream. But whatever it is, it's cataloged in the recesses of your mind somewhere. And that's what I believe. I think it's just you getting a glimpse of that. Pizza Man says, no, it's not joke stream. Oh, you can always tell jokes on our stream. But just came up with this one for my coworkers. I just don't get black people sometimes. They finally get a cop to start kneeling and they riot about it. Oh, that's terrible. When you remove the glasses, you become Super Curtis. I wish, sticky sauce. Jack Lane says, I'm still thinking dead babies. I think I need help. When we were talking about what to fill in the blank, how to complete that joke, everything he was coming up with, he said revolved around dead babies. BTG says you already look like a blind Caucasian Thanos. Yeah. It's almost creepy when, and with some of you guys, I've had people you guys see, I use it as a thumbnail every so often. I've had a few people send me pictures that they morphed my face into Thanos, and there's not much of a morphing. It's like, holy shit, that when you see it that way, when they put the purple hue there and everything, it's frightening how close it is. If only just think if I would have contacted, and it was you guys who got me to do it, if I would have contacted Epic Rap Battles sooner, Because you guys kept saying, "Oh, you got to tell them the joke," because they had, they were having Thanos in an upcoming video, and said you got to contact them, and so I did, and I told them, I said, "Listen, if you want me to do it, I'll travel. I just think it would be an honor to be in one of their videos." And they were really cool about it. They got back to me and said, "Oh, dude, if we didn't have it already set up, we would have definitely considered it. But they already had it, set up and casted and everything." That would have been fun as hell. I would have loved to have been in one of those vids. I'm a big YouTuber fan. I would be willing on my own dime to travel to be in any video created by, obviously Epic Rap Battles. Anything Brandon ever created, I would be willing to travel to be in. Help me think, guys. Who else? Who else is favored enough that I would be willing to part with some money to travel to be in the RDC World 1? Absolutely. I don't think that I fit the demographic that they're typically looking for, but if they want an old creepy white guy to be a villain or something, I would travel to be in with those guys. Brandon has a new character, Riley. I got to get back over to his channel. I haven't been in like a month. Oh, Papa Franco without question, Chrome. Yeah, Papa Frank. Big Green says, I didn't like their Thanos, to be honest, though I still enjoyed the rap battle. Well, it was tough. Just, I don't think he did a bad job. It's just, he's small, and it just doesn't have that same hit you, that same impression, that harsh impression that Thanos would typically make. Social Mute says the kid decided to burn his house down. His dad watched, tears in his eyes. He put his arm around the mom and said, "That's our son." And it qualifies as a bad pun too, so that's a double banger. That one naked yoga channel to all our horror. I would do a naked yoga channel, yeah, I would, and you guys would. Oh, I don't know that life on this planet could go on the same with what would happen. Well, America would be debilitated. Well, YouTube's worldwide, so China would take over because they're blocking YouTube, because everybody else would be so busy vomiting that they wouldn't be able to defend themselves. Marit says, do you think Luffy and his crew match up to Big Mom in the next arc? Well, that's a tough one for me, Marit, because really, I only know Big Mom by reputation. Do I think they're going to be in a little over their heads? Probably. But really, what I've seen so far, all I know is what they've talked about her. Similar with the Kaido, but at least with Kaido, I've seen Jack's ability, and I know that Kaido is significantly more powerful than Jack, so it gives me some sort of an idea. But with Big Mom, I don't really have much to go on. Sticky Sauce says, comic Thanos got extremely ugly anyway. He legit became a weird transformer of Galactus, Death, Deadpool, and Eternity all merged together. Really? Did he, Sticky Sauce? Because again, my days of the comics go way back. When I was a kid, I used to collect superhero comics like a madman, and that's the last I know of him in the comics. Where's Spaz Boy, Cyan? He is still in college, but he's home from school right now. He's downstairs right at the moment. He just he slept in a little today. He said he had a sore throat. His throat was bothering him a little bit, but I think he has not severe, but he has seasonal allergies, and I think it's just the drainage would just made his throat raw. But my wife and I are gonna go out later. We have staff coming in, staying late today with my daughter, so we're just gonna go out later for dinner. But I have thought about that in the past. I thought that would be fun as hell. You guys know me. I've always loved performing. I love acting. If any of you know any YouTuber, and I don't really care about their size to a degree. I'm not going to make a long trip to go to somebody that I don't even know if they're going to be committed to doing YouTube. But if they're an established YouTuber and they do sketch comedy and they want me to play a role, I think that would be fun to see how much of a collection I could make of guest appearances in videos. That'd be fun as hell, because I love YouTube and I love acting. So if you guys know anybody that fits those categories and you want to suggest me to them, go right ahead. Nah, Willie says he has a sore throat, but I tipped him good. Lick says, how much money would it cost you to start doing naked yoga? The worst part about that, Lick, is it's not the naked part that puts me off, it's the yoga. That sounds like fucking exercise. Sounds like it would make me tired. Let's see. Kaiser says, just saw Sailor Moon Crystal Eternals movies on Netflix. So far is the best installment in the installment in the Crystal version. Really? See, I'm all I know about Sailor Moon is that it seems like here in the West, it's got a really good foothold because, again, being an anime nerd, I'm always shopping around for anything cool in anime that the stores might carry here, and I see a lot of Sailor Moon stuff. Wink says, I would literally give you all my earthly possessions if you made this channel only naked yoga. I like the way you put that, Rover. Yoga makes me angry for some reason. I think they built me wrong in the factory. Like that. Jack Queen donated a couple pounds. He says, is this enough for naked yoga? Listen, I would, to be honest with you guys, if I made a naked yoga video and they arrested me for assault, I don't see how I could defend that against that. I would just have to accept whatever the punishment is. Mr. Croissant says, hey Curtis, interesting fact. Someone calculated the size of the One Piece world, and apparently it's as large as our sun. Really? Not surprising with, just what I've seen. Well, I say what I've seen so far. We're almost 800 episodes in. But from what I've seen with the amount of lands and worlds, I could believe that. Jack says at least naked yogurt. 2 pounds for Curtis Dong. That's a bargain, Rover says. Chrome says, I'm sure Devil Artemis would be game for another crossover. That was fun. I really enjoyed that with DA. That was, and if I ever actually could accomplish that and we make a playlist, that would be the top one on it. That's the first one I did. Lude says, so question, have you looked up anything about how you'll do Invincible after Slime? Don't know if anybody's told you yet, but each episode is around 40 minutes long. Will that require schedule changes? Yeah, I'll have to split them. That's all, Lude. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'll just have to split them in half. That's all. Yes, I did switch to live chat this time, Chrome. As a matter of, the only reason I remembered off the top of my head that I did was because I almost didn't remember to do it. We had started the stream and I caught it up there. Moista Fista. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Brian says, hey Curtis, have you ever tried any tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons or Vampires the Masquerade? So what sort of stories you have? No, I've never played them. Spaz Kid does. He actually, when they're at school, he DMs for a group. So he's into it, but no, I've never done that. Basically, yeah, what you did for Hellsing Ultimate. Yeah, Chrome, I'll just have to split them, only because it's just difficult for me. You know, if it's a Gusher 100 or something that runs long, that's not as big a deal for me to schedule. But any of you who watched the stream this morning will see, I get up in the morning and I do the videos that we have over at the Goosh first thing, and I have like a military schedule in the mornings to get everything done that I want to do with videos in time to go downstairs and do the things I need to do here at home and everything. So if I were to do 40-minute episodes, that would really screw it up. So it's easier for me to just split them. Mr. Clown says, have you seen Shoujo Ramune? No. I don't even think I've heard of that one, Mr. Clown. I don't remember that one. Did I hear Dungeons and Dragons? Mistra says, ask Spaz Kid about Mistra. He will recognize it. Oh, really? See, I don't know anything about it. If he was in here, I'd ask him. But yeah, he's not over the top into D&D, but he really enjoys it. And again, they play it in college regularly. I just, as a matter of fact, yesterday put in the paperwork and applied for my parental loans for his final year of school. It was bittersweet because it just means my boy is getting even older still and about to go out into the world on his own after college. But it's not a bad thing to not have to take out any more loans. Zeno says, hello, I'm gooshed out right now. Yeah, we all get that way sometimes, pal. Mr. Croissant says, I've been doing some comic binge reading for ideas for my novel, and I still can't figure out how. Didn't like Poison Ivy. I actually thought she was ugly. I'm disappointed in my younger self. Sikizaw says, D&D is good, but they have been forced to cancel Drows? What does that mean? What are that? Thanks, Twitter. Oh. I mean, all these social media companies have just become a joke. They really have. And I didn't end up with enough time to do it today. I think we've got a rant video coming up here on the channel soon. We talked about it the other day in the stream. I am so sick of China getting away with everything and everybody being afraid to say something about it. I wanted to puke when John Cena immediately ran out and said, I'm sorry, China. I didn't mean to call Taiwan a country. You fucking pussy. Jesus Christ. The Chinese government is garbage. They're assholes. They're scumbags. And again, I know I always need to say it, but I feel a responsibility to say it. Not the Chinese people. The Chinese people are victimized by the Chinese government way more than any of us are. And I'm just tired of them getting away with it because everybody owes them. Everybody has a financial stake that surrounds China or involves China. BTG says, if you want a good gift for him, Worlds Without Number? Worlds Without Number. Is that a tabletop game, BTG? Because he freaking loves tabletop games, especially, again, when they're at school. Brian says, same, John Cena apologized in Chinese. That was so cringe. I was disgusted. Seriously, Brian. That's... It's the same way, again, with anybody involved with the NBA. I'm not one of these people that takes the stance of shut up and dribble or shut up and hit the ball or whatever the case may be. Do I put any extra weight on what a famous athlete thinks as opposed to what one of you guys think? No, I think, your opinion is just as valid as theirs. However, I don't think they should be without an opinion. But when you say that you're going to be socially conscious, and I'm speaking to the NBA because they're the most egregious sport when it comes to China, and you want to talk about all these, you want to be someone who stands up for the oppressed and someone who's a fighter of the good fight, and you're absolutely terrified and unwilling to call out China for the things that they have done and are doing to people, I'm not listening to anything you have to say because you're a disingenuous slag. What the fuck? They are among the worst in the world for oppressing people. We can't say anything about them because all our salaries are tied right up in that Chinese market because basketball is fucking huge over there. Got a lot of cowards in this country, I'll tell you that. Xenogame says China is a planet. Yeah. Robert says, old Winnie the Pooh doesn't like Taiwan. Well, he hates that Winnie the Pooh thing, don't he? Oh, okay. Mr. says, Curtis, Drows are one of the most lore-heavy and interesting races in D&D. Been around since first edition, pretty sure. Wow. Thankfully, homebrews exist so we can ignore the dumb changes by Wizard of the Coast. Yeah, everything. I mean, between the overall political correctness of everything, and the world has just become so stupid. BTG says, I am disappointed my opinion isn't worth more. And Brian explains further, says, Drow, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, elves are basically, in simplified terms, a sub-race of elves who have darker skin normally. So they're just super sensitive about races even when the race doesn't exist in real life. You said the correct terminology within that, which is super sensitive. That's just how this moronic world has become. I was having a conversation about this with a friend of mine, and hold on, let me read Willie's post. I'll tell you my thoughts on it. All this PC makes me sad. Me too, Lord Diablo. Willie says, it's Pride Month and I'm proud to be in Nigerian people traders. Censored? Also, how has no one tried to assassinate Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. Well, we don't know that nobody's tried. I think that would be a tall task. But yeah, yeah, you would think that somebody's been willing to, quote unquote, take a shot. Now see, for me, there's a difference. If it's like with, say, in entertainment, with inclusivity. I don't have a problem with inclusivity in entertainment. If you're doing a show that, and you want to have a character that represents a certain demographic, I don't have an issue with that if you make it actually seem part of the show, or if it's a natural progression for the show or the movie or whatever it is. But so often these things are just pandering. You can tell that it's like the idea was to have this group represented, and then we'll just try and kind of build some sort of story around the fact that this person is a member of that group. And to me, that's just pandering and stupid. And the way I brought up the difference was, at Disney World, they've made changes on a couple rides. Well, one's planned. One was on Pirates of the Caribbean. There was a redhead in the ride. She's an animatronic. And I'm trying to remember what exactly was going on. I believe she was being slave traded. And the PC crew had a hissy fit about that. And she'd been there for decades. But the current crew was like, that's a horrible thing. And, she's basically begging at the foot of her white slave or her white masters type thing. I don't remember if they were actually striking her or not, but I should know. I've been on the ride 100 times. But anyway, they had issue with something that was reflective of what happened in the times, in the pirate era. That's what happened. And so they had to change the whole thing and make her character more powerful looking, and she was not being victimized anymore in the ride. Dun, 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 dun. And that's stupid. That's fucking asinine. It was reflective of the times. There was nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But Disney is ultra PC. So that one I thought was moronic. Now the other one they have is they're changing their log ride, Splash Mountain, from themed around bare necessities, what's the name of it? Song of the South, to Princess and the Frog. Now, I don't have an issue with that. Does PC have something to do with it? I'm sure. But here's why I don't have an issue with it. It makes sense. Who the hell knows about Song of the South anymore? I mean, I'm old enough that I remember when Song of the South was a big thing. It wasn't that good a movie. It wasn't that good a story even back then. It is overtly racist as well. There's no question about it. And yes, you can say that reflects feelings of the time, and it truly does. But it's not something that is pertinent anymore. When you're talking about the redhead and the pirate thing, it's a pirate story. She's pertinent. Song of the South nobody's cared about that in decades. So if you want to update that and make it about a current Disney movie, a current Disney trend, which they did, who cares? Does PC drive it a little bit? Probably, but it makes sense. That's just the difference. One of them made sense. The other one was just pandering. Let's see. BTG says, bring back the Slav trade. It improved the SJWs. Yeah, Big Green says, I only know about it due to the people offended by it. It was asinine. Absolutely asinine. There was no reason to change that. It was just reflective of the times. Now, on that same ride, you can see there's up in one of the upper floors, there's a woman chasing what you imagine is her philandering husband around and around in a circle, going to beat him with a rolling pin, I think it is, and that's cool. So that violence, simulated violence, is okay. The other violence isn't, because that's what fits into the PC categories. Zeno says, I bought a unit of 4 drawers for my clothes and stuff. Got it up and realized the shelves weren't as big, and realized I had too much anime shirts. You and me both, pal. My wife gives me shit about it all the time. My anime shirt collection has gotten even, I must admit, too ridiculous. Let's see. Mr. Croissant says, I'm young, so I may not understand much, but I feel like people are scared of China because of how many goods they produce and the quality of their goods. I could be wrong. Feel free to... No, that's part of it. That's part of it, because a lot of economies rely on those cheaply produced, including ours, those cheaply produced goods in China. Absolutely, Mr. Croissant. And that's a microcosm of the larger scale issue, which is that a lot of the world does serious business with China. And so they're all afraid of offending them. China owes we owe a lot of debt to China as well. But you're right. That's a big part of it. Is they create in their slave factories, they create a lot of desirably inexpensive products. But beyond that, they have significant financial investment into a lot of American and Western companies. And then you have things like with the NBA, you got a couple billion people over in China, many of which are huge basketball fans. The NBA is monstrously big in China. And so everybody's scared of them. They don't want to lose that market. And again, if that's your bottom line, hey, good for you. But don't run around pretending that you're a champion of the oppressed when you're only a champion of the oppressed when it doesn't hurt your pocket. And that's what the NBA does every day. Chrome says there's always a double standard in entertainment. Just look at The Simpsons strangling Bart. It's funny, and okay, right. But if you touch Lisa, Simpsons would be canceled today. Yeah, we could. Well, and you can't even have the Apu character anymore because apparently they think that otherwise able-minded individuals will look upon Indian people with disdain because of an obvious caricature. That's just stunning to me. Comedy is absurdity. What made Apu funny was he was too over the top. He took every stereotype of being an Indian and they played on it. Exactly the same thing they do with Willie the Groundskeeper and being, what is he? Is he Scottish or Irish? He's Scottish, right? Yeah, he's Scottish. But they do the exact same thing with Willie, but that's okay. I guess it just depends on which individual group you're lampooning, because I haven't heard any complaints about Willie, and it's the exact same thing. Jetpack Orion says, I think Vegeta may have OCD because he always talks about his pride. Chrome says, China's investment in Hollywood hasn't been as successful for Hollywood as people think, honestly. Unless you're Disney, you don't make much of China. Yeah, and even then, he is Scottish. Okay, thanks, guys. I thought so. And even then, everybody's still terrified of them. They're terrified of that Chinese dada. And it's bullshit. I mean, China basically gets away almost scot goddamn free with infecting the world with a deadly virus that may have come from a lab and was created there. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, but if we say anything, they're going to get upset. And boy, I really like buying cheap shit from them, Jack Queen says, Disney are a ridiculous group sometimes. There's the YouTuber who, as a kid, had cancer and only really survived because of his love of Star Wars. Still does today, and some Disney execs mocked him? I hadn't heard about that one, Jack. That's fucked up. Oh, Disney is exposing their idiocy right now in the parks. Let me read. Hey, Gabby! That's a a perfect screen name for right now. Gabby, I like Gabby's character. She freaks me out a little. Gabby says, didn't get a notification. Must have been those LDN devils. Well put. Well put. Excuse me. That's good. But I can tell you one of the things, Disney is so worried about the mobs, the Twitter mobs, the social media mobs. Because right now, if you go down Disney, we just came back from the parks. You don't have to wear a mask when you're outdoors. But as soon as you get in line at one of the queues for a ride or you're on a ride, you must wear your mask. If you look at pictures from, fuck off, Train. It was even worse the couple days after we left. Look at any pictures from Sunday at Disney World. People are shoulder to shoulder. Disney immediately, as soon as the restrictions were eased, they said, okay, we're gonna let more people come in, because they had the restrictions at 35% of their total that can be in the parks. I think they've taken them off completely. So now Disney is saying you can hang out in those parks all day, shoulder to shoulder, right next to one another. But when you get in the ride queue, you need to wear your mask. But then when you get on the ride, they're no longer separating you on the ride, so you can sit close together once again. They're full of shit. It's just stupid. and to me, there's no reason for masks now in America. Anyway, everybody that wants to be vaccinated has been, can be. Those who don't want to be vaccinated aren't going to. So why are we wearing masks? Let the unvaccinated who are willing to take the risk, let them infect each other, and at least they'll gain antibodies that way. And the people who aren't vaccinated have nothing to worry about. But Disney is so scared of running afoul of the SJWs in social media, they want to hold on to that masking just a little longer so they can show that they're thinking of the people. I mean, you're right shoulder to shoulder, like New Year's Eve in Times Square, crammed in there. But as soon as you get in the ride queue, oh, you better put your mask on now. South Park has China problems, yeah, as you know. Yeah, they do, and they do a good job of ripping them up. Brian says people who tried to assassinate Pooh are probably caught up in a CCP prison cell. Yeah, or no longer with us, I would guess. Have you seen those prisons unvaccinated people in China are being held in? I saw some footage taken by a prisoner. It's horrifying. Yeah, and I would imagine anybody who took a stab at Winnie is no longer among the living. Almost always, Niall. He says, it's weird how there's never people of that race who complain about it, but other races. I had told you guys many times, back in the day, my stand-up was more harsh than it is even now. And it's just because I think stereotypes are funny, so I did a lot of stereotype humor. I've had complaints from numbers of people at shows. Never, in my experiences, never from a member of the specific group I was lampooning, always from some do-gooder who was complaining on their behalf. And as I told you, complaining to me about it is the least satisfying thing they're ever going to do because I just mock them for it. BTG says, let all the activists put their money where their mouths are. Give them a gun and send them to plateware. Somehow I doubt they actually care enough. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit, BTG. Absolute bullshit. It's so disingenuous, so many of the activists, in many fields in America, and I assume throughout the world. You'll be an activist about this one thing, but something that's the exact same thing turned around against a different group is cool because that other group is somebody that you don't really care for that much, so fuck them. Happens all the time here. Yeah, they're definitely 6 feet under. That's what I say too, Big Green. Anybody who they even suspected might want to eliminate old Winnie, I'm sure is no longer with us. Chrome says it's the savior complex. Moral busybody speaking on behalf of others, while at the same time treating them like they're lesser if they disagree. Right, exactly right, Chrome. And what always gets me too, treating them like they're not competent enough to speak up for themselves. I mean, I can remember, you name a group, whether it was race, religion, sexual orientation, whatever came up during my shows, I would, hit stereotypes and make fun of things. So if, let's just say I was picking on black people, I'll guarantee you there was black people in the audience. Most of the places I played were metropolitan areas, so there was usually a black contingency there. You don't think that if they had an issue with it, that they're more than capable to say something to me about, or make a statement and walk out on it? They don't need Karen, and it was typically Karens. They don't need Karen to come up and fight their battles for them. But to a Karen, that makes them feel like they've done something for the little people. Karen was able to use her privilege to help someone out who is being treated poorly. Fuck yourself, Karen. Meshing Sleeper, thanks, pal. I appreciate it. BTG says whining on other races' behalf is cultural appropriation. I agree. Lick says it's all the fault of the American media. They're all under China's desk, so whenever some of China's dirty laundry gets outed, they get to work blaming the whites, all the while shitting on the Japanese. You are correct. Again, and it's because of my history and my education being in journalism. I mean, that's what I thought when I was younger I wanted to do with my life, was be a journalist. And I'm just disgusted with the state of journalism in America. I have no use for it. None. They have completely sold themselves out. And again, things get mislabeled all the time. Even Trump was onto something, but he wasn't bright enough to state it correctly. It isn't fake news, it's slanted news. That's what all the major media companies do. They will only tell you part of a story. They tell you the part that works well for their narrative. They do it all the time. They continue to do it. And it's made a mockery of the profession. It's garbage. Mr. Croissant says, I was on TikTok and this guy trolled the toxic SJW from the LGBT community, and he said he identifies as trans fat. That's funny. And now it's become a trend. People are identifying as trans fat. That would be me. Yeah. Willie says, we hate oppression, unless it's Big Daddy China. That's pretty much where it's at. That just pisses me off. It's so disingenuous. Again, this is just for me. If you are involved with an organization that makes a significant amount of their income from a country that actively oppresses people, kills dissidents regularly, and beats down their own, make sure that their own population is beaten down and kept in line, and you won't say a word about it, I really don't care what you think on another topic, because you're full of shit. Who cares what you think? Elijah the Crow says, we've seen some good shit in the pandemic. Trump got the fuck out of office. The racist got smacked with a can of Twisted Tea, and George Floyd's killing for that Twisted Tea thing was funny as fuck. that was a beat. That was one of my favorite memes of recent times. That Twisted Tea shot. That was perfect. Meshing Sleeper says, who do you think is a better henchman? Vegeta, Sasuke, or Killua? Probably depends on how you define better, Sleeper. I don't know if they're henchmen. With Vegeta, it's more, he's more of a rival for Goku. Same with Sasuke, for Naruto. And Killua is like, I think Killua fits the, not necessarily henchman, but the sidekick. No, I couldn't even say that. Not with Killua either. I can't really say that. But I think Killua is more of a comrade, put it that way, obviously, with Gon. Whereas Vegeta is an adversary of sorts to Goku. Sasuke is an adversary to Naruto. So I guess it would just depend on how you define it. For sure, though, for me, one of those things is not like the other. Killua's relationship with the main protagonist is entirely different than Vegeta's or Sasuke's. So, given that, I would say Killua. Plus, I love Killua. Such a great character. Andrew says, people think it's bad in the States. The Chinese credit system literally has laws to keep poor people poor. No travel, no renting, no property, right? I mean, it's horrific, the things they do every day to their own people. But nobody in business, in big business here in America, will say anything about it. I wonder if I get time, I will. If I make a rant video about China, I wonder, because with what Susan's done to this channel now, nothing. The only thing they could do beyond this is try and find a reason to end the channel, because they've devastated it. But I wonder what they'll do. They'll have to take some sort of action. Whether they'll age restrict it, maybe. Demonetize, I figure for sure, but age restrict it? I don't know. What do you guys think? And I'm always careful, as I've done in here, to make sure, because again, I don't want that to happen. I always make sure that I mention to people, the only thing dumber than running cover for the Chinese government is if you want to lash out against Chinese people for the actions of the government. Like I say, they're more victimized than anybody. Going through, especially, or an Asian person living in America. Why the fuck would you think you're getting even with the Chinese government by doing harm to them? They're just as victimized as anybody else. Hey, Silver Ritter. Brian says, how was your stand-up, Curtis? I imagine your humor was a lot like Louis C.K. or George Carlin. Most people don't care about those jokes and even finds it funny themselves. Only Karen's doing comedy shows. Yeah, back in the day, it was, I guess it would be classically considered edgy, but I can guarantee you, I never told a joke to try and be edgy. It's just those are the things I found funny. Now, the new stuff is different only because I'm at a different point in my life, and all the new material basically talks about my family, the things I've experienced in life, the wrestling, my wife. I have a whole thing about my wife and when she went through menopause and stuff like that, just because that's more of what I want to talk about now. Chrome says, well, they're not going to say anything about it until the people find it so unpalatable that they finally stand up and refuse to buy Chinese connected products. Yeah. And Chrome, we all know how that goes. Lots of luck getting people together for a real cause that would make a difference on anything like that. Empire Jeff says, logic can be used to justify almost anything that is power and its weakness. Right, but a lot of times, especially on social media and stuff, Jeff, the logic that people employ is entirely faulty. They call it logic, but in when held up to a bright light, it really isn't logical. Big Green says you would get your life demonetized. Oink says, can you mock me, please? I'm at half mast and I just need a little push. I like that, Oink. That's next level. Call me a dirty whore, daddy. Oh, you guys are funny. Lick says, Mistress Susan is going to send her YouTube branded assassins after you when this is over. Yeah. It does, though. It infuriates me what they get away with. It really does. Pretty much, Mistra. For those who don't know, Mistra was formerly Dragon Sphere. She says, oppress me, CCP, and give me COVID, please. Money now? Sticky Sauce says, China, like many former emperors, has a giant stick up its ass that it can no longer hold over the world and do whatever it wants with no consequences. I'd say that's accurate. Brian says, journalism is no longer honest. Sad but true. Many news outlets are calling the Wayback Machine and other archiving websites racist because they are archiving original headlines before they change it for image. It's pathetic. It's just gotten ridiculous. I mean, to me, the defining point was when the New York Times posted the New York Times posted an opinion piece and allowed the author to remain anonymous. I mean, I don't know how into journalism you guys are, but that's the number one golden rule. You don't post opinion pieces without an author's name attached to it, because it doesn't matter what somebody anonymous thinks, because you don't know the source. Why would anybody care what someone has to say if you can't hold that person, and it's their opinion, if you can't hold that person and who they are up to the light of day to see if it's something that you want to give any credence to or not. And as soon as they did that, it's like they don't care. They're not even pretending that they're journalists anymore. Meshing Sleeper says, be honest. Who you think you like better as a main character? Goku, Naruto, or Gon? Like, from your view, who you like better? Well, yeah, I'd be honest. My favorite main character? Well, I'll put it to you this way. Who do I think would rank, if I were to take each one of those series and rank my favorite characters, because none of those characters are my favorite character in the series. Who would be the highest? Boy, that's still tough. Probably Goku would be the highest within his own series, but it'd be close. None of them, like I said, none of them are my favorites from their series, but I think Goku would probably be the highest within his series. BTG says, Napoleon had a stick up his ass, made him look tall. Jack says, don't be honest, lie. Chrome says, China basically picked up where Soviet Russia left off when it comes to Hollywood. Documents released over the last decade or so show they funded Hollywood for billions even when collapsing. I'd like to read into that more, Chrome. I had heard that in the past too, that the Soviet Union had their fingers deeply into Hollywood. Oh, and Hollywood liked it. Hey, Philip. Philip says there are 6 places in the world that I have no desire to visit. North Korea, with ya. China, Russia, Cuba, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Guess they all have in common. Yeah, 100%, Philip. 100%. You would not catch... The only way you'll catch me in any of those countries is if they caught me and put me in those countries, which Susan may do if I make that rant video about China. But yes, I completely agree with you. 100%. Excuse me. Kaiser says, Western movie token characters usually always made to earn brownie points. Scar in FMA, race was subjected to genocide. He blew heads up, still regarded as a mass murderer until changes his way. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Brian says, oh, Curtis, a real journalist called Andy. I never know how you pronounce his last name. Is it No? Is the G silent? Was undercover in a far left organization recently. He's recovering from almost being beaten to death, and that others are targeting Asians because Andy is. Yeah, well, the left hates him. Is Andy an honest journalist? Yeah. He presents things. I mean, to be fair, and I think that the work Andy does is necessary, especially in the current climate we're in. So it's not that I dislike him, but if I'm going to be fair, Andy tries to present things in his own narrative as well, in the way he edits his videos and stuff. He does. I mean, they all do it. And I'm not saying that I dislike him, and I do watch his videos. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think what he's doing is necessary, but he's not fair down the line either. He presents his videos in an edited fashion that works to get the point that he wants to across. Check says, is there a man you respect so much, real or fiction, who you would let teabag you? You have my full erection. Attention. I don't think that that's all that exclusive a club. I don't have time to list them all. Jetpack says, I think Gohan may have Asperger's syndrome. Jesus Christ. Because in his high school, he was the different kid, but at the same time, he is one of the strongest and is very knowledgeable. Yeah, he almost seems like a savant or something, doesn't he, in some ways? Elijah the Crow says, can an anime rival be a friend? Sure. I think so. I think that's true in real life. I think your rival can absolutely be your friend. Hell, I told you guys back when I was in my boxing days, I don't know if you call us right. Well, yeah, we were rivals in the ring. The guy I trained with most commonly, his name was Al Williams. We used to beat the shit out of each other all day, and he was one of my best friends. Thomas says, I'm guessing you heard about the Fauci email leak. Yes, I did, Thomas. Yes, I did. And again, everything is political. That he needs to be thoroughly investigated for his ties to that Wuhan lab. I'm not saying he did anything untoward. I'm saying it needs to be looked into. There's enough smoke from the barrel there that needs to really be researched top to bottom. He says, I have to have a stick up my ass. Also, I'm still waiting on that mockery. And Andrew says, Asperger's. Remember that one, Andrew? South Park. Yeah, I think you're right, Sticky Sauce. He says rivals are a type of friend / ally. That's what differs them from an enemy. Yeah, I agree. Will you be watching ReZero in dub or sub? I recommend sub. I don't think... I'll have to go back and check my notes. I don't think there was anything said. What I do when we start a new series is I will watch them in sub unless there's a preponderance from people whose opinions that I respect saying, no, dub's the way you have to go with this one. It's happened on a number of occasions. FMAB was like that. Cowboy Bebop. Anything where people have said, Yu Yu Hakusho, where people have said the dub is clearly superior, I go with dub. Outside of that, if it's a toss-up, I go with sub. Trevor says the left-wing media wouldn't cover anything that came from the Fauci emails. That's the way our media coverage is now. There is no interest whatsoever in preventing all sides of an issue. It's all about narrative. Chrome says, I think the biggest thing China's done to Hollywood is disallow them from making China the villain. They don't always need to be portrayed as a hero, but they're rarely the villain. Yeah, I agree with you. Yep. That's well put, Ivan. I like that. Rival. I won't let anyone kill you but me type of friendship. Yep, that's really well put. That's perfect. Eric says, hey, my friend and fellow Dragon Ball brother, my birthday is Sunday. I'll be 31. Hey, happy birthday, my friend. I mean, a lot of you said happy birthday to me. Oh, I just did. I nailed that. Yeah, happy birthday, Eric. Good for you, pal. 31, still in your prime, brother. I kind of remember my prime. I think I had a prime. Huh. Pretty sure I did. Willie says, if I had 7 Dragon Balls, I would wish to be Lord of Nazarick and invade China and the world, but China first. Code says, as long as Biden is in the office, Fauci will be fine. Remember Hunter. Yeah, it's true. I mean, again, this whole nation is hyper-political about everything. You know, the media is split. The population is split. And I don't see I don't see us coming out of this split anytime soon. Not without something big happening, unfortunately. Lex says, that's the thing about journalism nowadays. You got 2 choices when you enter that career. You're either assassinated by your country or making articles about how soup is transphobic. Pretty much, Lou. I'm sorry, Lou. Lex, that pretty much sums it up, unfortunately. The sad but true files. BTG says, I know my prime. 7. Only divides by itself in 1. I get it. Mr. Croissant says, logic is usually faulty, especially when it's justifying something questionable. Very true. China and the U.S. government make bad decisions, but the world appeals to ignorance because they are scared. Again, I'm completely with you guys. Couldn't agree more. That's good, Oink. If I had 7 Dragon Balls, I would fondle them. Well played. Chrome says, that's not necessarily true. Biden could use Fauci as a sacrificial lamb to save himself. Remember, the Obama admin funded the Wuhan lab. Also remember, Fauci messed up the AIDS crisis. Could be, Chrome. I don't think he will, though. I think Fauci's, and we don't know, if Fauci gets thrown under the bus, how much dirt could he spread all over Biden, though? That's what I think he'd be more afraid of. I would think. Alexis Croatian now, Jack says. Kaiser said, I found this declassified CIA document that may suggest we are in the Matrix. That wouldn't come as a surprise to me at all, Kaiser. I'd like to say I'm shocked by that, but yeah, I would go, yeah, that figures. Sticky Sauce says, China is like that flatfish, big flats, who wanted to beat SpongeBob up in boating school. Basically how they treat other countries. Yeah, you're right. You're right. China is flats. All right, guys, I got to go. Thank you for this Free For All Friday. I love Free For All Friday streams. And again, back home, everything is on schedule for this month and everything. So the stream should be regular. I do want to get some more gaming streams. The next thing I want to do, I really want to get back to my Minecraft world, but I want to try that new Resident Evil. Freaking Spez kid got me wanting to play that. Yeah, so hopefully I'll get that up at some point. Hopefully I'll get it up for you guys at some point next week. At my age, hopefully I'll get it up. That's all needs to be said. But it's Friday. This is the primo sticky stuff. I'm feeling good. That's right, Andrew. That's right. Big cups full coming your way. Oh, this sticky stuff. Listen, for an old guy, I'm telling you, I'm feeling it. Well, I was feeling it during the stream and getting it ready for, to disperse. This is primo sticky stuff. And you know what? It just dawned on me. I have to interject this. Interject. I keep wondering why Susan hates me. I distribute sticky stuff at the end of every one of these chat streams. That might have something to do with it. So this today on Free For All Friday is the premium sticky stuff, and we're kind of tossing it figuratively in the face of Susan as it's distributed. Here it comes. Pump, pump, sticky stuff for you, 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 sticky stuff for all of you. Because it's Friday stuff. It's the great shit. And it's got a little Susanism, isn't it? Because we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, Susan will never stop this. Goosh, 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 goosh.